in 2012 I was like struggling.
Yeah, I lose
winning,
everything.
losing. Like I lost my bankroll 8 times or whatever. We go to one guy and then play 50 hours. No sleep, just grind. Let me combine all the things I know, make one really good video, a masterclass of these 10-15 hours of putting everything in there.
Yep.
If you want to be in the top 1,000 in the world, I already think you don't need to be that smart. You just need to work hard.
สวัสดีครับน้องท็อปนะครับเทตักทีมสตาร์กัปตันนะครับและตอนนี้ผมอยู่ที่ซีเฟลประเทศออสเตรียครับและทุกคนนะฮะเชิญพบกับรายการพิเศษของเราเลยเทนาตักทอล์กสเปเชียลวันนี้เรามาถ่ายทำกันถึงยุโรปที่ซีเฟลเลยแล้ววันนี้เราได้เกียรตินะครับจากนักโป๊กเกอร์ระดับตำนานนะครับ Fedor Holz
That's me.
Clap I know you need no introduction but please introduce yourself to your Thai poker fans
Yeah, I'm Fedor.I play poker now for 16 years.
Your whole life.
Actually, now at this point, my whole life. I started when I was 16. I was number 1 in 2015 and 16 online and live. I won roughly 50 million in poker. And yeah, it's been a long time now.
Yeah, I mean 16 years in poker world, but it feels like a minute, right?
It feels
times
both at
so
the same
fast.
time.
Yeah.
Long and short. When I see younger players, I feel like a dinosaur. But when I think about 16 years, it doesn't feel that long.
Yeah. I have to say, you used to retire. Like you pronounce, make a statement that you retired and you came back to the game. What happened at that moment?
I had an incredibly successful summer in 2016. I won
like 20 million
in like 6, 7, 8 months.
Yeah.
And I felt very drained. Was very burned out, I would say. And I took 2-3 weeks break and I didn't want to play poker. And this was inside, it was a bit like, it was so successful, but I didn't want to play, so I felt something is wrong. And I took a break and then I never got back. So that was it felt like a retirement because for people outside it's hard to understand.
Yeah.
I still played, but I played it more
casually
as a hobby. I played the spots I wanted to. Before, it was every hour of the day. I woke up, poker.
Grinding.
And then for others, they say, you still play? I'm like, yes, but I play 5% of what I used to play.
I see,
so
yeah.
That felt like retirement.
Yeah, I think that's retirement because like back in the day, you have to go to every stops of every tournaments that occur in the world, right? But now you have a choice to spend time with your family, or friends, people you love, and play poker wherever and whenever you want. I think that's the goal of every poker player.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah, but let's took it back 16 years ago when you start playing poker. You start playing cash games or start playing tournaments?
A mix. So at that time I was 16.
But you can be in the casino at 16.
Exactly. So we started playing 1 cent, 2 cents.
Home games.
Yeah. 7, 8 friends, my school friends. One of them had a chip set. And he was, hey guys, we should start play poker.
Yeah.
And then we met, we played, and 2 of my friends, all my friends were a bit older, and 2 of my friends, they started to make money with poker already. So they made 5,000 euros, which when you're in school...
Oh, that's a lot.
They had everything, holidays, computer...
McDonald's.
Really, like, unlimited. At that time, 5,000 euros was...
Yeah, PlayStation.
It was everything you want and more.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to... They always won against us. That was also something. We played 7, 8 people. They always won.
Two of that good.
Exactly. And I was like, wait a second.
Wait. Are you cheating or what?
I want to understand what they're doing. And then, because we're very good friends, weekends. So 72 hours, we go to one guy and then play 50 hours. No sleep, just grind. And at that time, I played sit and goes. So 180 players. They're called 180 mans. And I just played 20 tables like a machine. $1 tournament.
$1 tournament, 180. They used to have 180 sitting goals back in the day.
Exactly.
Oh my
yeah.
God,
that was the thing when you started to get into poker. You either played cash game or you played
sitting goals.
Sitting goals.
I see. Yeah. And then you start your poker career and then breakthrough at 2012, I guess, right? 2012?
Yeah, 2013.
2013.
So 2012 was when I said, okay, I take this full time. I try to really put all my time into this. Didn't really work, didn't make money, lost some money. And then 1.5 years later, I started to make money with poker.
I see, I see. So I want to know what are the 3 key moments in your poker career that you think shape your poker career as a whole?
I would say the first one has to be when I decided to play
Go
full
pro,
time.
yeah.
It wasn't really pro, it was just I quit studies, which was a big part of my life at that point, and I decided to only play poker. And that was a very important one because without that, it would have never worked. So it didn't work in the beginning. Socially, it wasn't super accepted. So the people around me didn't think this was a great idea.
Yeah. What about your parents said? Because in Asia, in Asian culture, parents are always protective and like don't want their child to have some proper
education, proper job,
to be a doctor, to be a lawyer. Yeah, what's your parents say?
For me, it was a bit different because I moved to my grandmother when I was 15, and I moved out alone when I was 17. So I was very early out of my my mother and my father lived separate. So it was a bit of a difficult teenager time, and so they had a say, but not too much.
I see.
Because I was like, okay, they can say they don't like it, but I do it anyway.
Yeah, because you're a lone wolf anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wasn't too dependent. I didn't get much money. So I feel like they were quite supportive. They were just, hey, if you think this is what you want to do it. My mother had her, how do you say, she was worried, but
she
didn't say.
Just give you blessings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first key moments when you started.
Yeah.
What's the second one?
I would say the second must have been 2013. The switch from, and it's hard to actually. This time I don't really know what happened. In 2012 I was like struggling.
Yeah. I lose
winning,
everything.
winning, losing. Like I lost my bankroll 8 times or whatever. And then in 2013 I did a break in January. I put all my things in a container. Never picked it up again, did a world trip, and 5 months later I moved to Vienna. And that's when I started to just win. I played better. I think I had a more clear vision as well. I was more structured. I was more dedicated to poker. And then I started to make money. And that was like a really big shift because from no success to having enough money to not think about money, that was a huge milestone. Because then it was like a spiral. I could, from having no sorrows or no fears, no existential fears, to then focusing more on poker and being able to freely play and freely improve. So that was the second milestone.
Yep.
And I'd say the third one I think was when I was in that environment. Then I had a lot of room, and then I started to build my group of people. That's with
Pokercode.
That was before. I would say that was like the first idea of what it will be in years later.
I see.
But before that, I built a group of people that all were very ambitious but not successful, and we all went to the top. And that was, I think, what I did then with Pokercode, what I did with my team. So all the things I did in poker were kind of starting there.
Yeah, because I'm always feels like I started playing poker for like 10 years now, but I'm playing tournaments for like 3 years, and I feels it's a lonely game sometimes,
Can be.
Yeah, it can be. You grind alone outside your country, because we can play tournaments poker in Thailand, but when I fly to Taipei, fly to Korea, fly to Vietnam, Malaysia, it feels lonely sometimes, and sometimes you're celebrating your wins alone, and sometimes you stay with your grief, your regrets, with a lot of hands, a lot of things that your bad beat story, everything is, you felt it alone. But as a group, as a whole, as a crew, as a team, I think we could be better poker player as a team. So maybe when I saw Pokercode, when I saw other teams, I think to myself, wow, poker could be team sports, could be teamwork, right?
Yeah.
And it's better to with your friends, and it's a lot better to grieve with your friends. So I want to know the reason why Pokercode was founded.
I mean, to be honest, the very beginning of Pokercode was a lot of people asked me for content.
Okay.
Can you
Do
explain me
this.
this?
Yeah,
Can
can
you
you teach
explain
me some
this?
stuff?
And very often I did very expensive one-on-one coachings, and I got kind of annoyed by that. I'm talking the same things all the time. As I've done 30 coachings, and after the 15th, I was just repeating myself over and over again. I was like, I have to do this better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when it started. The idea was really more, let me combine all the things I know, make one really good video, a masterclass of these 10, 15 hours of putting everything in there.
Yep.
And sell that. That was, or give that to people. That was mostly the initial idea. And then it turned into community because I was not satisfied with the initial product. It sold well, it made money, but people were not really watching, they watched some, but it felt this is not what I want to get out of this. And then I started doing coachings on top, and then I started to pay other coaches in my circle to do more coaching, and so it just became a bigger product. And then we switched to a membership, and that was, I think, a big shift in the company and in the idea.
I see.
And so it started as something very different.
Yeah, and I need to ask about the name Pokercode because I think the content, the things you know about poker, the things you wanna teach is you already had it, but a name, a teaching site's name, a team name. What's come up with Pokercode back then?
I mean, the idea was really, it's also my identity. I'm a player. I like to understand things. I like to solve a puzzle. For me, poker is solving puzzles all the time. I'm not interested in repeating, for example. I don't like to learn something and then just repeat what I learned. I like to understand the concept. I like to think in concepts. Also, when I talk about poker, I like the way it makes my brain work on it.
Functional.
Yeah, and so I've never been a robot. I've never been a machine just trying to repeat things. I always liked the challenge, and I feel there's nothing more fitting than it's kind of you're solving a code.
You're coding something.
Yeah, but it's also the code behind the game. It's like as if once you figured out the code, you kind of know how things work. It's like, so it's the code to solve poker. It's like that was the idea, that we really try to break things down. A lot of it is conceptual. We really try to bring a concept that is very complicated and explain it in a way that you can understand. That was always what we tried to accomplish.
I understand now, because like in the gangster movie or gangster TV series, that's our code.
Yeah.
You can't do this.
Yeah.
You can't do this, but you must do this. Is our code.
Yeah, ethics is also part of it, to be honest. Like I'd say nowadays, it's very easy to sway in the poker world, to not be too ethical, to not have strong morals as well. And I feel that's also part of it. Like I've always, because I was young too, I understand how I've been in all these different situations. On the receiving end, on the giving end, sometimes you just make mistakes. And you learn from it. And I think particularly in poker, where it's a lot of it is about ethics.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to cheat, and I think that's also a really important part. If we go, I always say that when we do a bowling event for Pokercode members once a year, and every time I go there, I feel we've done a really good job because there's only nice people. There's people you really feel like they have a good energy, good attitude,
good vibes.
And I think that's also a really important part.
Yeah, I think
being a good person.
Yeah, I'm totally agree, because like everybody could start playing poker, but I think poker ethics, table manners, and I think poker etiquettes are like one of the top things to learn and to improve as a poker player. I think your environment on the game, on the poker table, everybody's like playing with you or likes you. I think it makes you play poker longer in the long run.
Yeah, and it helps you for the rest of your life too.
Yeah, I think. So as a very, very successful poker player, a lot of Thai poker players are starting to building their bankroll and starting to navigate their career. As a beginner, what the advice to the younger generation of poker player who's trying to thrive, who's trying to grind and come up, going to the top?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different things. Because I do this, I work a lot with younger players, and I see all the things they're maybe lacking or that they have to improve in. Maybe I'll put it in two categories. I think one is what are the characteristics that are very important. I always say the main characteristic is emotional stability and resilience. You need to be very resilient to be successful in poker. I find it more important to be resilient than to be smart or good at pattern recognition.
I see.
Because you might be good at solving certain problems in poker or like understand certain concepts, but if you're not resilient, the moments where you make bad decisions, it will outweigh your good decisions by
miles.
Really big part.
Yeah.
So that's what I see. A lot of young players, they're just not very resilient. And that's what I would put a lot of emphasis on, is really working on these. It's work. It's not that I was born this way. It's hours and hours and hours of work on yourself to deal with setbacks, tilt, losing.
And come back stronger.
And see it as a longer journey. Like when I was 19, I wanted everything in 3 months. You know, and if I didn't succeed in 3 months, I was, not happy. I'm not good enough. It's a year-long journey. You know, now I see it more as a 3 to 5 year journey. If you do the right steps, you will be successful. All of my students are successful. There's less and more successful, but there's no failures. You know, there's some that win millions and some that win 500,000. Luck is a massive part in the game, but if you do consistently put in good work, if you study, if you really look for things that you can get better at, if you see that long run, things will turn out well.
Yeah, it's all about time frame, right?
It's really, really important.
Yeah.
If you put in 50 good hours a week, you're really dedicated, and you think with what can I do better? You just write down like, okay, I want to improve in this, I want to improve in that, and you just keep doing good steps. 2-3 years, you will be successful. There's no way around it.
There's no shortcut.
It's mostly when you procrastinate, when you beat yourself up too much, when you have no clear improvement goals, not a clear idea where you should improve towards, or where your weaknesses are. That's when people plateau, and that's where they just are worse than their competition.
I see. Because I used to see your computer setup and the wall behind your computer setup, right? There's a lot of notes, a lot of poker quotes, right? And maybe
like motivational.
Yeah, I think you remind yourself always, and I think I really believe you 100%. That there's no shortcut, and a lot of Thai poker generation, younger generation, want to try to bing it tomorrow, and try to bing it in the next year, maybe next month. When you learn something new and you're trying to apply to your game without training, without studying more, they're trying to bing it everything in short term. But everything is about resilience.
Maybe let me say one more thing towards this.
Okay.
One really important concept, I think, is the main thing you see with less experienced younger players is that their whole idea of self-worth in this concept is built around social proof. It's not so much built around competence. It's basically, do other people think I'm good?
Yeah.
And how do other people think you're good? Because all the other people have no clue. They think you're good if you win.
Yeah.
So they're very focused on winning. If you lose, you're bad. If you win, you're good. But it has not so much to do with that. Let's say you play 2 months, you win a $200 tournament for 100,000. It makes you 0% a better poker player. You're the same poker player the next day you were the day before.
Yeah, that's
right. You could win a 1K tournament for 1 million. The next day you're the exact same poker player. So it doesn't make you more competent if you have results. It gives you statistical evidence. So if someone is doing very well over a consistently longer time, for example, you have a certain win rate, you have certain consistent results, it gives you feedback of where you stand. But some people have won 500K and are not great poker players. And it's it's not a terrible thing, but it's very important to be very realistic where you stand in this whole thing. So I think if you focus on improving your own competence, if you just go in like, I want to become a more competent poker player over time, and I don't need to rush it in like 1 or 2 years, like I want to do this for 3, 4, 5 years, and this is my plan, and I look at what other successful people are doing, and I try to learn from better people. The really good thing in poker is, this is what I always tell my students, your competition is lazy. That's the really good thing.
Your competition is lazy.
It's very lazy.
How is it?
If you play average buy-in $80, I think anyone can beat that level. Anyone, if you put in consistent work. It has nothing to do with how smart you are, like how... I'd say there's only... If you want to be in the top 100 in the world, you have to outsmart people.
Yep.
You can't outwork them. You have to work hard and be smarter. But the top 100 in the world, they're the best players in the world.
Yeah.
If you want to be in the top 1,000 in the world, I already think you don't need to be that smart. You just need to work hard.
I see.
And that's, I think, for me, is always a good sign. Like, you can make 200,000-300,000 a year by just being disciplined, working hard, and staying with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't do that.
Yeah, your competence is lazy, and the real enemy is you in the mirror.
Yeah.
Right? And the thing is, when I heard you talking about winnings and stuff, I reflected on myself, because when I started playing poker first year, I being third place on Asian Poker Tour main event, and I won like 160K, and I thought, oh, I'm the fucking best. Poker is easy. I'm the best player in the world. And then I realized it's nothing. I'm as good as poker as yesterday.
Yeah.
Before I being third on the main, and I realized after that, like 3 or 5 months later, I just becomes, I think, winner's tilt maybe.
Yeah.
I thought I'm a better poker person. I'm a better poker player. I think I'm
better than you were.
Yeah, I'm better than you were at the time, and I have to study more. And lazy is my competence for sure, and I have to put more work in. I'm not a professional poker player, but I start to fall in love with the game more and more as I played. So I have to work more, I have to study more, and yeah, that everything you said was true. So if you must say, okay, so I mean, poker in modern era, I think it's it's more nerdy, right? I think there's no gangster shit like in Casino Royale. Like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it becomes more complex, more studied players, and a lot of average, better player in the fields. What is your final message, or where do you see poker in the future in the next 5 to 10 years?
I mean, it's different where I see it and where I wish to see it.
Okay.
But my vision or my wish to poker would be that we put more emphasis on the way we do things. I think particularly in poker, the ethics and the way of doing things, I think it is a great game that can teach you a lot of things. I think it has a very nice mental stimulation. You're very nicely mentally challenged by it, has a very high skill cap. I think also the competition is really fun. I think it can be a really great learning experience for your character as well, to learn how to deal with losing, to learn how to deal with variance. But I also think that it really puts also the worst characteristics out in yourself. And I think I wish that we as a community as well, that becomes more of a topic, and particularly around unethical behavior. I think that's going to be more and more important. I think we will be more confronted with the idea of, if you individually don't help improve the system, it will also have repercussions for you as an individual. The more you also hold other people up to a higher standard, it would also be much better for the environment. And I think that's something we're going to be challenged with in the next years more and more.
Yeah, just grow the game together as a whole, as a poker player. Thank you for your time, Fido. I mean, it was a pleasure talking to you. I learned a lot by this 20-30 minutes talking to you as a poker player, as a human being. And thank you for your time for Taenaatak Talk และนี่คือ Fedor Holz นะครับโอ้โหมันเป็นเกียรติจริงๆที่ได้มา Taenaatak Talk กับเขาในวันนี้ขอบคุณ Fedor Holz มากๆนะครับ This is Fedor Holz ขอบคุณครับ Fedor Holz
You're welcome.